Yes, you are on, Srila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Please accept my blessings. Can I see myself? All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane, Namaste Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Pacharine, Nivishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarane. So I should look here, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, perfect.
My dear disciples, sons and daughters, and if there's any well-wishers here, please accept my blessings. All glories to Prabhupada. You're very fortunate to be in Bharat. We say India, but that's a name given just actually a few centuries ago. The original name is Bharat. Bharat has different meanings. Of course, it's one famous king who lived in India eons ago, and country was named after him, or all the provinces together were taken as Bharat. But Bharat also means, in Sanskrit, light. So, of course, India is a subtropical country. It's hot most of the year. It's only cold for a few weeks. So, yes, it's full of light, but the actual literal, or let's say the deeper understanding, means the light of knowledge. Divya Gyan. Rajavidya Rajaguyam, Krishna says, the king of all education is the transcendental knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and beyond. So you live in the land of light, the land of transcendental knowledge. And I'm addressing you from Malaysia, or there's many bad names we could give where we are. I'm in Macedonia, with all due respect to the country. The Yavana-deśa, you're familiar with the Yavana-deśa. So I'm addressing you here. Why am I here, not in Bharat? On the order of my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, to preach boldly and have faith in the holy names. Because according to Shastra, at one point the whole world was India or Bharat. We have that understanding. How do we know? Because in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Yudhishthira is described as the emperor of the world. An emperor is not a king. Emperor means the king of kings. So he was situated in Hastinapur. Your arm there. He was situated in Hastinapur, like we could say Delhi in that region. He was ruling the whole world, and he sent his team out to different parts of the world to collect for the Battle of Kurukshetra. So I'm also appealing for you to collect for the upcoming Kartik. Not collect, but collect yourselves and come to Kartik in Braj. Because Braj actually is not part of India. Golok Prem Dan Harinam Sankirtan. Narottam Das Thakur says that this Sankirtan movement, this, let us say, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in modern times, with the Senapati, Srila Prabhupada as the general, this Braj is the spiritual world. So India is also, sorry to say, part of the material world. And you can see it's becoming more materialistic day by day with the influence of Kali Yuga. So your prabhu-datta-deśa is not Macedonia like mine. Or I'm also going on to Croatia, then I'm going to England, then I'm going to Spain, then I'm going to Italy, and all over the world. That's my prabhu-datta-deśa. I'm a world citizen. But your prabhu-datta-deśa for serving Srila Prabhupada and the Sankirtan movement is India or Bharat. And within that continent, within that country, there's many, how would you say, where the Lord appears, what's it called? Yoga Piths. This is the beauty of your country. Yoga Pith means where the lotus feet of the Lord touched, and he had his pastimes. It said that only the most pious persons in the universe take birth in Bharat. So don't become puffed up because it's Kali Yuga. But you've taken your birth there, and India is meant to guide the world with transcendental knowledge. That's why Srila Prabhupada fulfilled the instruction of his spiritual master to go to the West and spread Krishna consciousness. He said in the English-speaking language, but English-speaking language can kind of mean the whole world because, you know, everyone, not everyone, but it's a common language all over the world. And Prabhupada did that and more. His books have been translated into like 50 languages or something. But then at one point, Prabhupada came back to India, actually quite soon, 71, 72, 73. He was always going back to India. And specifically, he told Bhakti True Maharaj, my dear godmother, that he came back to India to revive Krishna consciousness in Bengal, which for us is one of the most important yoga peace because there the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna shifted from Vrindavan to Navadvip to start the Yuga Dharma, meant to go all over the world to revive the whole world again, like, you know, Yudhishthir's empire, to revive it in its Krishna consciousness. So ISKCON spread all over the world, different transcendental fiefdoms, we say. It's a European word. Fiefdom means a little kingdom. You all have your little kingdoms throughout India. And ISKCON has these kingdoms, you know, these yoga peace, little yoga peace all over the world to revive the world in Vedic culture. But you have a really important one there because if the light of transcendental knowledge dims or goes out in India, what hope is there for the world? It's like a transcendental lighthouse. We just finished our Polish summer tour along the Baltic Sea coast. I'm sure you were keeping touch. It was fantastic. I won't go into that now, but it was the best ever out of 35 years of enlightening people with Krishna consciousness. But there was one town we went to, it's called Nihozhev. And Nihozhev, we had our festival at a touristic spot next to a lighthouse. It was very romantic, you know, this beautiful lighthouse built in the 19th century or something like that, right on the coast. Because in the old days, the sailing boats would come along the Baltic Sea, and there's lots of rocks around that area. So the lighthouse was very tall, and it burned with a very bright light, so the sailors could see. They didn't want to come too close to the shore, and then their ships would wreck. That's the reason, you know, it's out of date because we have GPS and we have our cell phones, and we know where the danger is and where it's good to go, you know, on the roads, the highways, and so forth. But in the days of the sea, when ships were traveling, the lighthouses were very important. If the lighthouse went out, the ships would crash. And historically, that's actually happened. There's many shipwrecks under the sea, in the bottom of the sea. So the lighthouse was to guide people from dangers so they could safely attain their goal. So India is like the lighthouse of transcendental knowledge. And it's meant not to just be bright for a few kilometers like Nihozhev, the lighthouse on the Baltic Sea. This lighthouse of transcendental knowledge is meant to spread all over the world, all over the world. So you have that solemn duty to, you could say, revolutionize or make good again or revive the Vedic culture, most specifically the Gaudiya Vaishnava culture, so that the whole world can see the brightness, can have the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Unfortunately, it does happen from time to time, or let us consider that sometimes the darkest part of a candle is directly below it. In ancient days, they didn't have like neon lights and like we have now, all kinds of bright lights. Electricity came in a few hundred years ago. Before, they used candles to keep the house bright. But it's interesting, if you look at the candle, although the light is spreading out, the darkest part is not at the end of that light. Maybe it goes a few meters. The darkest part is right under the candle. It's just nature's way. The light is going out, but because it's spreading, right under the candle's dark. So this example is given sometimes for we can use it for India, that this lighthouse of transcendental knowledge, the Vedic scriptures, primarily Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's favorite book, Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the light that's meant to spread not just in your continent, but all in China and Russia, Mongolia, Argentina. The whole world's full of ignorance. So this light of transcendental is supposed to spread, but it may be that because of the influence of Kali, he wants to attack the head. He wants to attack the Brahmins, those who study and preach this knowledge. He wants to attack that. So in many ways, you could see that this material progress, which is necessary, you want to keep up with it because we can use it in Krishna's service. The science and technology, it can be abused and misused for the wrong purposes. So that's happening to some extent in India with all the discos and the way people are dressing now, and the drugs and the fascination with materialistic culture. We can use it, but we have to be very careful. It's like fire. Fire can burn or fire can purify. So science and technology, we can use them to the right advantage, but many people are misusing it in the land of light in Bharat. So in one sense, that shadow, you could say, it's appearing. The lighthouse of transcendental knowledge, Bharat, the land of light, meant to light up the world. There's a dark part there, and you have to take care of that. You're responsible for removing that darkness by preaching Krishna consciousness in your prabhu-datta-deśa, in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, in Pune, in Bengal, in Chennai, wherever. We have to save. That's why Prabhupada came back to India. He spent a lot of time in India, not just to relax and recover from his preaching in the West. He told Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I've succeeded, these are his little words, I've succeeded in following the instruction of my spiritual master to spread Krishna consciousness in the Western countries. Of course, it's an ongoing process, but you know the nature of light. If you shine a flashlight at night into the sky, theoretically, that light goes on. What's going to stop it? It may bounce off different objects, different planets, but it just keeps going. That's the nature of light. It just keeps going. So what Prabhupada accomplished in the West, giving that light of knowledge, it will keep going. If us Western devotees stick to the process, the straight and narrow, follow the regulative principles, preach Krishna consciousness, establish satellite programs like temples and farms and schools, and defeat the scientific theory. We've got our work to do here. But you have to save India from being covered over by the darkness of Kali Yuga. You have to preach wherever you are. You don't have to travel like me. The sannyasi has a particular role in, keep moving, keep invigorating different temples around the world. I'm just kind of following Prabhupada's footsteps here in the West. But you have a fixed service in enlightening people in Vedanta. It means the end of knowledge. There's so many spiritual traditions. Hey, okay, we're respectful, but there's the PhD in the science of self-realization. That's Gaudiya Vaishnavism. We are respectful, like mathematics. You have, 1 + 1 is 2. Then you have multiplication. Then you have whatever, division. It goes on and on. You can have a PhD in mathematics. So we respect all the other levels of self-realization in your country. But Bhakti Vedanta, Prabhupada got that name, Bhakti, means that Bhakti is in Vedanta is the highest goal. So you have to enlighten your people. It's going to take many generations. Janme, Janme Prabhu She. He is my Lord and Master, birth after birth, my Guru. Why? Because we may not go back to Godhead in one lifetime. We may be required that, due to our experience, due to our learning, we may be required to come back and take advantage of that. Of course, Prabhupada may want we come back to the spiritual world, but the mood of the disciple is that I won't ask for higher service in Goloka Vrindavan until the service of my master is completed on this planet. Like you're assigned to clean the floor in the temple. So you don't stop halfway and say, can I clean up the leaves outside on the veranda? No, you have to first finish the service in the temple before you ask for something else. So Prabhupada has given us lifetimes of service. If need be, we may have to come back. We should have that determination. That's our Eke Kudu Nandan, is the service of Guru and Gauranga. We have many responsibilities, but Sanatana Dharma means the ultimate responsibility of spreading the Yuga Dharma of this age, chanting Hare Krishna. Everything else is secondary. That's a bold statement. My body, my family, my region, my country, yes. But Sanatana Dharma means the mission of the Lord. And because Jiver Swapoya Krishnera Nityadas, we're eternally, our real identity as servants of the Lord, our heartbeat is the service of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, and what we can accomplish in our particular area. And to each his own. Krishna says he's the ability in mankind, in men and women. So everyone has a part to play. Not everyone can be a sannyasi, travel around the world and get the credit. No. Everyone's service is important. Raising children, giving donations, befriending people and gradually interesting them in Krishna consciousness, showing what is simple living and high thinking, show the sattvic way of life. Not everyone to the cities. Let's go back to the land. Vedic culture was based on cultivating the land and taking care of cows. Prabhupada said if someone has an acre of land and a cow and a bull, they can meet all the necessary requirements of the body. Of course, we can't do this overnight, but we have these ideas, we have to share these ideas. So you have to do that, and you need to be, how would you say, we always use that corny phrase, we have to recharge the batteries. So what does it mean to recharge the batteries? Go to the yoga pith. They may look like any other village, any other place, but no, because the Lord appeared there, they're eternally transcendental. When the cosmos comes to an end, Vrindavan still remains. Mayapur still remains. Ayodhya still remains. Dwarka still remains. It's mystical. We can't understand. So when we enter into these places that now are overcrowded and there's people taking advantage of Vrindavan and Mayapur to make business, and there's so much going on, we just see it as a thin film of materialism covering the Dham. It's just a thin film. Walk through the crowds and the horns and the people begging and this and that. That's all there. That's okay. But we don't become discouraged because we know it's just a thin film of God. When we enter into the Dham, we still fall on the ground and roll in the dust. We still bathe in the kunds and the ponds. We still go barefoot around Govardhan Hill. We still visit these places. We try to see through the eyes of Guru and Gauranga, which means when we go on Parikrama in Vrindavan, it's said that a saintly person sees through his ears, not through his eyes. When we go to Varshana and we go to Chitta Devi's village, and there's that beautiful little temple, remember, where there's that grassy area. It's kind of more like we would like to imagine Vrindavan, but it's quite busy outside. But in that atmosphere, we just hear about the Astasakis. We hear about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. We have kirtan with Bharahari and others, and Charatna and so forth. We go to these places to become surchars, and we go back to Mumbai, mundane Mumbai, sorry, mundane Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, bad hydro, all these places, with all due respect, they're the bastions of materialism. They're the bastions of that. These are the places Kali's working. That's okay. We take up the challenge. Brahmins like to keep things clean. Brahmins are the two things that Brahmins can't stand. They can't stand pain because they're too sensitive. They're in the mode of goodness. And they can't stand a place where there's no water because they use the water for bathing. They use the water for puja. They use the water for bathing the deity. We Brahmins, because we want to be as clean as we can in this world of uncleanliness, cleaning. But cleaning also means purification of the heart. So we can't clean up the streets of Mumbai and Delhi and Hyderabad and Pune and Bangalore, etc. But we can clean the hearts of the people through this mystical and amazing transcendental sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's the Sankirtan movement. We do it through Brihat Mridanga as well. But to get the full mercy of the holy name, we go to places like Vrindavan, Jaipur, meaning Govinda Dev, Gopinath, and Damodar, etc. We go there, and when we chant in those places, the holy name's very powerful, very purifying, because it said whatever service one does in Vrindavan, the benefit is magnified 1,000 times. And to think that this is an exaggeration, that's aparat. To think that the glories of chanting Hare Krishna are exaggeration is an offense. So when we go and we have kirtans, and when we hear the glories of the holy name in classes, and even we share the holy names with the residents of these holy places, Śrī Nam, meaning the holy name, becomes especially merciful. So therefore, we have to go to Kartik. Our Kartik shouldn't be just 300, 400 devotees. Our Kartik should be like Radhanath Swami's Kartiks. 4,000 devotees, 5,000 devotees. That's our goal. Of course, it's a bit uncomfortable. How do you go to Radhakund with 4,000 people? Even with 400 people, it's uncomfortable. Krishna will make some arrangement. we the managers will make some arrangement. But at least you should come. Those of you who are watching this, you have to come to spend time with your guru. My most memorable moments in my career as a devotee are those special moments I spent with Srila Prabhupada. Maybe they're few and far between because Prabhupada was always moving. One devotee said to Prabhupada, I want to be close to your lotus feet. Prabhupada said, well, you have to keep up with me because these lotus feet are traveling very quickly around the world. So when you have the opportunity to be with your guru, you should do it because that's not forever. I mean, it is forever, but the Vapu, here today, gone tomorrow, but Vāṇī means the instructions. They're always there. But if you have time, then you should be with your guru in these holy places, getting purified, getting the determination to continue to go back to the bad hydro and the mundane Mumbai, and very enthusiastically, somehow or other, contribute to the Sankirtan movement. This is our bliss. Our bliss is in Braj, and our bliss is in non-Braj. What? How could our bliss be in non-Braj? Our bliss in non-Braj is making non-Braj into Braj. And there's that verse which we always quote. by Prabhu Saraswati and Chaitanya Chandamrita, that by serving the Sankirtan movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which doesn't mean, sitting in the temples and ringing the bells, or just, sitting behind the computer. It means using the computer to preach, or it means going out in the streets, or it means serving the Sankirtan movement, supporting it somehow, then that work becomes pure devotion. So we're always in Krishna consciousness. Actually, there's a beautiful verse or a statement by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, which I think I've used in one of my lectures, where he refers to that verse from the Padma Purana. I think it's the Padma Purana, where one should, the perfection of Krishna consciousness is to never forget Krishna. Ever, at every moment, to remember Krishna. Never forget Krishna. Always remember Krishna. Like that. So Vishnu said that that's impossible to remember Krishna all the time. Something happened here. What happened?
Did Gurudev get a call or something?
You got a call.
You got a phone call or something?
From who? Stop it. Hold on, guys. To always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So in one commentary, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, that's not possible in Kali Yuga. I was shocked when I read it. He said, it's enough just to remember Krishna once a day. So there's some special grace for us. We have so much grace. There's so many concessions. I mean, the days of yore, the Brahmins would, they'd faint hearing that. So many rules, so many regulations. Yes, but this is Kali Yuga. So Vishwanath said, it's not that you have to remember Krishna and never forget him in Kali Yuga. You just remember him once a day. But if you engage in the Sankirtan movement, that is not different than Lord Chaitanya. So it's remembering him all the time. Remembering his name, fame, form, mission, etc. Raising changing the diapers on your baby, going to the streets to work, sweating at the office. It's all for the purpose of assisting Lord Chaitanya. So yes, in one way, we can't remember Krishna and never forget him. But just once a day, he says, but we can do it by serving the Sankirtan mission. So I want all of you to become bold preachers like Narottam Das Thakur, Srinivas Acharya, and Shyamananda Pandit. They're my heroes. But I also want you to become Rasik devotees. Devotees who throughout your lifetime you develop namruchi, a taste for chanting the holy names and distributing the holy names. And I want you to understand deeply what is Vrindavan, what is Goloka Vrindavan. So I'm pushing you to preach, but I'm also pushing you to go deeper. We often say, distribute books, distribute books, distribute books. Yes, but Prabhupada also wanted us to become pure devotees. He wanted us to come to the point. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. We have to shoot for the rhinoceros. Excuse my French. We have to think like that. Maybe some devotees are not so enthusiastic anymore. Some have fallen away, but we should think, I will never fall away. I will stay. I, in my short lifetime, will try to achieve perfection. And that's exactly why, for the last 5 years, every Friday, I am presenting you a lecture on some aspect of Vrindavan. It all started back in whatever year it was, with COVID. I was passing through Vrindavan. Radharani slammed the door. You're not going anywhere. You're going to be here for 3 years in this tiny apartment. Study and preach. So I thought, well, I've been preaching you not this body for many years. Maybe I should go a little deeper and share it with my disciples. Remind you. There's over 700 lectures about Vrindavan. And to my shock and horror, I meet devotees. I say, do you listen to my lectures about Braj? Sometimes, or I'm catching up. Catching up means what? I'm about 4 years behind. No. Our connection to Guru is not a physical connection. Our connection to Guru is a Vāṇī connection. It means instructions. Instructions doesn't just mean, get up early, chant. Instruction means the classes he gives. And I've given enough classes, how we're not the body, material world's suffering, birth, disease, old age, and death. I only give those lectures now in public programs to get people started. Kick them from behind and get them moving. But in my old age, in my waning years, the twilight of my life, I'm trying to remind myself and yourself, we want to go home to Braj. Unless you know about Braj, what's the impetus for going there? So many details. For each class I give, I spend 10 hours researching. 10 hours. And when do I find the time? You can ask my servants, those who are with me. I'm busy 28 hours a day, 9 days a week, 700 days of the year, to put it in poetic language. But I find the time for you. Actually, my most important service is my disciples. I take it very seriously. I'm famous for traveling around the world and doing festivals, but really, my real service is you, because in my absence one day, you have to keep on my legacy by preaching and going deep into Krishna consciousness. And you don't have to go through the scriptures yourself. I do that for you. You should listen to every single lecture I've given, and not at the expense of not listening to Prabhupada as well. Prabhupada speaks in English. Many of his lectures are in Hindi. You should have a lot of time. You should dedicate a lot of time to hearing and chanting. That's the formula. Shravanam Kirtanam brings Krishna Shmaranam. That's the basics. That's the essence. Right to the quick, we say in English. Shravanam Kirtanam brings, it says Vishnu, but we say Krishna Shmaranam, remembrance of Krishna. There you go again. Always remember Krishna, never forget it. But without that knowledge, what are you going to think about Krishna? We've been giving classes on, Radharani's eyes. I gave like 5 classes. I'm giving a second lecture on her eyebrows. Radharani's eyebrows, where do you go? I'll go for you. I'll go to Govinda Lilamrita. I'll go to Krishna Bhavanamrita. I'll go and I'll read the proper passages. And, we have to be a little selective. These are very deep scriptures, but they're there. Prabhupada intended us one day to read them. So I'm going through them, refining and bringing you the details. Love is in the details. Radharani's eyes, her eyebrows, her hair, her glances, class after class after class. If you're missing those classes, what's the use of having a guru? A guru is there he's the teacher. But if you're not sitting in the classroom learning from the teacher, why have a teacher? I have a guru. I'm going back to Godhead. No, the guru is the one who puts the torchlight in the world of darkness, so you know where to walk so as not to trip through the dark forest of illusion and come out, and how to proceed, how to live in the spiritual world. So you have to listen regularly to my lectures. It's as good as being in Vrindavan. It's not my knowledge. I'm just like, sharing with you what I'm learning from Prabhupada, from Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Gorkashtoras, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Baladev Bijiva, Sad Goswamis, and many great poets in our line. I'm doing the work for you. You just have to sit down and listen. You may not be so, scholarly. You may not be intelligent. I'm not intelligent. I'm just a good repeater, like the parrot. Squawk, 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 squawk. But it's transcendental. Like Prabhupada told me, I was sleeping in his class. He was speaking in Hindi. Indradyumna, why are you sleeping when I'm speaking? I don't speak Hindi, Prabhupada. He didn't like that answer. He said, it does not matter. This is Divya Gyan. This is transcendental knowledge. You stay awake. I never slept again in a class. So if even it may be too deep for you, but just listen. It's not too deep. I don't go too deep. I'm not at that stage. None of us are. But we need to go deeper. So you have to listen. Then you'll be invigorated. You'll be inspired. You'll feel very in close contact with your guru. I never get to see my guru. I see him once a year. Prabhupada said, if you want to know me, he said, read my books. That's what he said. If you want to know me, read my books. He didn't say, come to Vrindavan and sit with me in those days. If you want to know me, read my books. If you want to be in contact with your guru, this humble devotee, then listen to my classes, which are the classes of our acharyas. And this way you remain enlivened. And when those rare moments of vapu come, for you, they're not like coming to sadhu sangha retreat in America. They're not like coming to Kazakhstan when I do a program for the Kazakh devotees, or I go to China. Those devotees can't come out of China. They can't get visas. Maybe this year they'll get a few visas, but it's a very difficult country. I go there. Your association with me is Kartik. And then when I come through the cities on the book tour, this year we're doing the 6 seasons of Vrindavan. The last book was Śrī Vṛndāvana, 8 companions. So now the 6, is that as interesting as Radharani? Yes, it's all connected. We're working day and night to get this book published for you by the book tour in December. The 6 seasons. It's just so interesting. It's so deep. It's so amazing. You should be like, a person who's dying of thirst, waiting for water. Guru Maharaj is coming out with a book about the 6 seasons. I know nothing about the 6 seasons. Well, you can know everything that I could find in research. So you have these moments to be with your guru through hearing the lectures, through buying the books, and if possible, I know it's not always possible, but whenever possible, come to Kartik. Because there we have the king of Kirtan, Bhattahari. Bhattahari has this city that wherever he sits down to do Kirtan, he comes up with the right melody. All melodies, but he has this ability to sing the right melody at the right time. Like the different ragas, there's a raga for the morning, there's a raga for the afternoon, there's a raga for the evening, right? According to that time, this Vedic culture is so perfect. There's a particular melody, like in the morning. Samsaradava nalalita loka. That's the morning melody. It's not to be sung at night. Iba jayo jayo koda chandra. So he's so expert that when he sits down someplace, he comes up with the right melody. I traveled with him for 15 years. Sometimes my hair would stand on end. We'd be somewhere. So when we're in Radhakund, he's got a melody. When we're at Kamyavani, has a melody. When we're at Prem Sarovara, I don't know. So he's there, I'm there. While we're in Vrindavan, we have Chadaratma and other, devotees come with us. You're there. You're all important. We all love you. So if you can make it, try to come to Kartik. But you have to register on time. You have to keep in contact with Rasika. These are well-organized parikamas. Rasika Siramani and Govinda Charan, they're very expert at organizing, so it's less inconvenient. It's always, inconvenient. I have to be, the bus trips and where we stay and the traveling. But yeah, we tolerate that because the nectar is so deep. It's like drinking hot sugar juice. It burns your lips, but it's so sweet. Madhur, madhur, madhur bhaji. So the whole purpose of this gathering is to spend a little time with all of you, because you're very good disciples. In the past, I have no complaints. In the past, you've supported my preaching. I think the whole preaching at Rishikesh, it's supported by all of you. And you're not rich devotees. You're rich in Krishna consciousness, but Lakshmi blesses the Shivites more than she blesses the Gaudiya Vaishnava, because she wants us to remain a little bit renounced. But you help, and I really appreciate it, because that Rishikesh, that's the gold standard of kirtan melas. And even you can't all come because it's for the Westerners, and we can only accommodate 40 or 45 devotees because of the accommodation. So, sometimes you can visit, but you can't participate in that because it's Western oriented, and we have the services. But you can be proud of your spiritual master and his helpers, and introducing these Western yogis into Krishna consciousness. That's a famous program. So to give, but not necessarily participate, that takes faith, that takes shraddha in the mission of your guru. So I'm very proud of you that you can give without participating, but you can participate without giving. Maybe, I don't know, you have to give something for the Kartik Parikrama, but that's your time to be with me, and Badahar, and Shadaratma, and whoever else comes with us. This year we're doing Vrindavan, but shortly for like 7 days, and we're going to Jaipur to see Govindaji and Gopinath and Damodar, and then we're going to Mayapur. We're in Mayapur for like 2 weeks. Mayapur in Kartik, yes, because Radha and Krishna appeared in Mayapur, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radhe Krishna Nai Anga, as one personality, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he's the one that gave us the understanding of Braj Bhakti. So yes, we can go to Mayapur because that's where he revealed Braj Bhakti. And only by his mercy, the combined mercy of Gaur Nitai, can we even understand what is Radha and Krishna. So it's a perfect place to be in Kartik, with your spiritual master, with my godbrothers and godsisters, and with all of you. It's going to be fantastic. And we should take advantage. Who knows what's going to happen in this world? It's getting crazier. Seriously, Kali Yuga is going to advance. You can see, if you study don't study, please, but if you know the world news, it's getting pretty bad. What if COVID comes back, or, some other? So strike while the iron's hot. Make hay while the sun shines. Don't delay. Take advantage of this time. Who knows what it'll be like next year, the years to come. We may look back, those were the golden years when we could be with Guru Dev and Bharat Varshan. And who knows? Of course, Krishna always gives us wonderful opportunities, even the darkest of hours. So our future's very, very bright. The whole purpose of this call was to keep in touch with you, let you know that I love you to the moon and back, every single one of you. I've not forgotten you. And I'm offering you this opportunity to be with me in Kartik. I thank you for all the service you're doing, the preaching you're doing, to keep the lighthouse burning in Bharat Varsha. And let's get together at that time of the year. We can be together and continue. So you can be enlivened to go back to your prabhu-datta-deśa and preach. And by going to your guru to Vrindavan, both by going there and by hearing about Vrindavan from him in my Friday lectures, by the time you leave this body, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, they'll be very pleased that you serve the Sankirtan movement according to your capacity, and you learn more about Vrindavan by hearing from your guru. Of course, I'm just the humble representative of Srila Prabhupada. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just the mouthpiece. He's the Acharya. He's the Senapati. He's the one that's engaging us in the Sankirtan movement. He's the one that wrote Krishna book, where everything I'm saying is summarized. Prabhupada says in Krishna book, towards the beginning, he said, when my disciples get to the stage of Vipalamba Bhav, feeling separation from Krishna, this book, written in 1971 to neophyte devotees, just a few temples around the world, Prabhupada said, this will give my disciples solace. When you're crying in love of Godhead, we can say it, because otherwise, what are we doing here? That's the goal. We're honest where we're at, but we know it is the goal. When we get there, we're crying in love. Separation. Krishna book, Prabhupada said, will give us solace. It'll be the sambhog. It'll be the way we associate. So Prabhupada has given us everything. Let's take advantage. He wanted these parikamas. He told us one time in Mayapur, I can remember, he said, I want every single one of my disciples to come to Mayapur festival every year. The GBC fainted. The temple presidents fainted. But Prabhupada, if all the devotees in the temple, they go, then, there won't be any books sold. We'll run out of money. Prabhupada said, I said it, everyone come. That's how important he took these festivals at Kartik or Gurpurnim. Come to Vrindavan, come to Mayapur when you can. Maybe not every year, but come. Prabhupada wanted it because he knew the power of these events to keep the Sankirtan movement going and to purify his followers to the stage of love of God. So now it's time for my lunch. I've given you nourishment, and we have a big program here in Yavana-deśa. I hope the government doesn't hear this. We have a big program in Skopje. Skopje, what the heck, Skopje? You probably don't even know what is Skopje. Skopje. It's the capital of Macedonia. What's Macedonia? It's this tiny little country, a couple million people. But this is where Alexander the Great appeared. He actually came to your country. He conquered the whole world. He got to India, but he had to turn back. You turned him back. Famous personality, but it's a cosmopolitan. It's a country of people of Muslim faith, of Orthodox Christian faith, a little bit of Hare Krishna. But today, the stage is set. We're going to be on the main plaza of the capital having our Festival of India. We're calling it Soul Fest. We actually organize it under another name, not Hare Krishna. They don't know it's Hare Krishna yet. But, we're going to have Ramayan, beautiful drum, just like we did on the Baltic Sea. You saw the videos, first class. It could go on West End in London. It could go in Broadway in New York. It's so professional, done. But with the message, the original love story. I'm going to give a talk from Bhagavad Gita. There's going to be different musical performances, etc., etc., etc. It's a quantum leap for this yatra here in Macedonia. They're doing a great job, but this is something they could never have met. This is a dream come true. That's Krishna consciousness. Never lose faith. This Krishna consciousness is a dream come true. It's the dream of the Lord. And wherever the Lord dreams, it's not illusion, it's absolute truth. So please give us your blessings that it will go off successfully. It's boiling hot here. It's hotter than India. Yeah, there's a heat wave going on here. It's unprecedented throughout Europe this summer. It is so hot out there. You walk out, it's like walking into a furnace, like walking into a steam room or something. But we're going to do it. But we need your blessings. We need the Hari, Guru, Vaishnava. We need the blessings of Hari, he who removes all inauspiciousness. Guru, we need Prabhupada's mercy. And we need the mercy of all of you. You're far away, but your prayers will come through the transcendental medium of Krishna's blessings, Mahaprabhu's blessings. So please pray for us. I hope to see as many of you as possible at Kartik. It's going to be the biggest and best ever Kartik that we've ever had. We've done so many. It's going to be the best, the most blessed, and the happiest of all Kartik. So Braj, Jaipur, Mayapur. I can't wait. Actually, I'm ready to come back to India. I've been out here for half a year. I love preaching in the West, but I'm missing Braj. I'm missing Mayapur. I'm missing Govindaji. I really am. I've still got 6 more weeks. So I'm going to do my best to satisfy Mahaprabhu so I get some adhikari to come back to the country you're living in. Gee, how fortunate is your birth? I took birth in Yavana-deśa. Finally, Prabhupada came and rescued me, but I can't wait to get back, but I got a few more weeks here to get the credit to the qualification to come back and roll the dust. Śrī Vṛndāvana-dhāma. So no time for questions. I'm hungry. Autumn's come, and we've got a big festival tonight, and I've got to work a little bit on my research next Friday's class. Yes, I'll squeeze it in there. Please listen to these classes. Okay. We'll see you soon. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Gaura Ki, Shri Radha Srila Prabhupada, Senapati for preaching around the world, and the revealer of the Dham, Kartik Parikrama, coming up very soon. Keep in contact with Suramani. She's got nothing to do. Just joking. Organizing a Sadhu Sangha retreat even now in America. We're also organizing the book tour. We're organizing a pioneer program in London. I'm taking Ramayan and Song of Grace, our two top theatrical performers to London. We have a lot to do. So we need to come to Kartik too. See you soon. All glories to Srila Papa. Hari Bol. Go Premanandi.
Srila Gurudev ki jai.